Well, welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for joining us for this presentation. Dr. Michael Robinson has over 20 years of experience in education, serving many years as a K-12 teacher, and now as an academic integrity administrator and faculty chair for doctoral students. He's published multiple works on educator wellness, and is passionate about how mindfulness practices can improve daily focus and functioning. Feel free to reach out for networking and collaboration. He has a lot of interest. He's a 21st century skills acquisition interest and avid reader, books, creative writing, curriculum development, distance education, diversity and inclusion, diversity, equity and inclusion, empathy and emotions in education, helping others, mindfulness, professional and personal development. Some interesting facts about Michael. He is an author, but he's also been an actor and a Latin percussionist. Please welcome Dr. Robinson as he shares his thoughts on developing faculty wellness in an age of open access. Take it away, Michael.
Thank you, Connie. Man, that's quite the intro. I really appreciate it. I'm honored and delighted to be here. I want to thank UAGC and particularly TLC and Connie and Stephanie for helping out. There on the front screen here, you see there is going to be a final activity that incorporates a snack. So if you have some Halloween candy nearby, I suggest grabbing it now. We are going to be working with a snack later in this presentation. All right, so what we're going to look at is we're going to understand the correlation between our emotions and our identity. Working so long in the caring, helping industry, we all feel burnt out at times. So we have to figure out how our own identity plays a part in that. We're also going to understand the correlation between what's happening around us and our emotions, how we respond, what our triggers are, and how we can compartmentalize that. All right, so first, core beliefs. These are crucial for well-being, is understanding your own core beliefs and reflecting on them. You can see in the middle of the screen here, there's a lot that are underlined that a lot of us as educators, we have these core beliefs, and sometimes this affects how we react to emotions in the classroom, even in an online setting like this. Even when we receive an email or we receive a text from a student, anything. Sometimes I'll start with a story here. I had a student quite a while ago that every time I called on him in class, he would lift his head up and he would say, "Don't know, don't care," and then put his head back down. And it's just really, really bothered me for so long. And because I have this core belief, like, hey, like, how do you not give 100% to something you signed up for? You said you were going to do this. Why not give it your best? And I realized, like, that's my own interpretation and putting that on somebody else. I can't expect somebody to like the same things I do or be interested in the same things I do. So, once I realized that, hey, I'm just not going to call on him anymore. I knew that was a trigger and he knew as well. So I'm just not going to call on him anymore. A lot of these in the middle of the screen, as educators, we all think these things at different times. Like, we all want approval, respect for what we do. We all think that we're going to, empower 100% of the students. They're going to love us and we're going to love them. And the need for autonomy, we need to have great relationships and understand the content. And sometimes it just doesn't work out that way. And we can't impose those core beliefs on everybody else. That's their journey. Our journey as the instructor is to care for them, show compassion, but we can't put our own beliefs on them. They're in it for their own reasons. So we're going to start with each of these slides. We are going to do what's called a waterfall chat. So right now, before anybody puts an answer into the chat, The question is, when did you react to a stressful moment because of a core belief you hold? Now, think about it for a couple seconds. I'm gonna say 7 seconds, and then we're all going to hit enter, and it's going to be a waterfall in the chat. Okay, so when did you react to a stressful moment because of a core belief you held? Okay, everybody hit enter now. Let's see in the chat. Let's see some responses. Oh, there's some good ones here. Steph responding to something on Facebook. I hope it wasn't from me. Awesome. Yeah, and all especially political discussions, the other stuff, like that sometimes like we always want somebody else to think the way we do. And especially in education, we're trying to get across a point about the content. And yeah, we can't expect people to be like us all the time. Yeah, good work, everyone. Thank you. So moving on to the next slide here. Social relationships. So we're in the business of relationship building. I'll tell you really quick what I do to help my emotions at work is I have right behind my computer, I have pictures of close friends and family everywhere. And it's the social relationships and that positive psychology that helps me during times when I'm dealing with something, I'm reacting to something, I'm trying to process emotions. It helps me be mindful and helps recenter me and say, you know what? It's the social relationships that work, especially with students. You know, even if they send me a funny meme in text or they say something nice about me, it's that kind of stuff that helps get me through the tough times. So it's not just with students though. With our colleagues, with our employer, social support networks, so important. I remember when I was going through my doctoral program here at UAGC, and I had that social support network of my cohort and hanging out in San Diego, spending 3 days together and really just leaning on each other. And yeah, it's truly important to get through. And when there's people that share the same emotions and they're going through the same journey as you, rely on them. Compassion fatigue, vicarious trauma, these are inherent to the job. We're always going to feel compassion, and our students have been through some experiences you can't even imagine a lot of times. And sure, everybody's been through trauma, but sometimes when you hear it from students and you say, wow, man, and then you start thinking about it more, you start feeling that as well because you're empathizing with them so much. Combat it with humor. Don't downplay or minimize the trauma that they've been through, but humor works well in everything, and it brings a smile to your face even when you're feeling the most down. So I always say identify the positive relationships and let yourself feel the positive from every relationship you have, and that is self-care. So we're going to do another waterfall chat here. Describe a positive relationship you have with a student, or if you're not teaching right now, talk about a colleague or an employer or somebody in your social support network that makes you feel good. What aspects make it enjoyable and helpful for you? 7 seconds, and then we're going to hit enter. Okay, everybody go. Wow, there's a lot. I can't keep up with these. Yeah, I see a lot of familiar names in here too that are part of my social support network. All great answers. Dad joke Mondays. I love that. Awesome. So next, we're going to talk about personal competencies and skills. There's certain things you can work on to help yourself with your own emotions. We've all heard of emotional intelligence, but that really does help. If you can understand somebody else's emotions, and you can, just from reading their body language, their eye contact, and using empathy and compassion, that really does help. And you can model that for students. I remember going out into the hall with some students that were really angry sometimes, and really just being really calm, sometimes cracking a joke. Of everybody that had me, they know, like, Mr. Robinson comes out in the hall, he's going to be like, a guy walks into a bar, ouch, he said. Just little jokes like that can help the situation and just bring a smile to somebody's face, and understanding that, the problem is still there, but hey, I'm in this. I care about you, and I don't like seeing you like this. Regulating your own emotions, knowing your triggers, not engaging. Just like I said before, that student that said, don't know, don't care all the time. I'm just gonna avoid that, because it's only gonna be a battle I can't win. As far as resiliency, coping, everybody has different techniques, but especially in an age of open access, when you're working at the computer, the best thing to do is take some space and process. Take a walk outside, get away from the computer for a little bit, get the blood moving, move your body. Conflict resolution techniques, like trying to understand where the other person's coming from, balancing negative with something positive. All these things help. So now we're going to do another waterfall chat here, because we don't have much time. We're whipping through these slides. What skills do you use when you're stressed? 7 seconds, and then we're going to hit enter. Okay. And go. Awesome. There's some good ones here. I really like Jody said, awareness of the effects of my energy. That's part of emotional intelligence too, is understanding what you're presenting to other people. Awesome. Yeah, I do need to be more active. A lot of people are talking about physical things here. Yeah, you guys can't see my belly on the screen, but yeah, we won't discuss that. Environmental stressors, this is the strongest stressors for educators. And believe me, this is not just in a brick and mortar classroom. It is especially in an age of open access, when you're sitting at a computer as well. A lot of times, because of open access, we have more students in our classes. We have more demands put on us. We feel like we have less and less time. So the first one here, you have to cut something out of your schedule. Don't cut self-care out, because you need that to be able to function. Everybody says, well, I need the other things. I need food, water, and sleep, so I can't cut those. It has to be self-care. But that should be considered like food and water. It's something we need to be able to survive and get through each day. The second one, conflict in your courses. Like I said, take some time and space away. Sometimes working in academic integrity, I deal with a lot of students who are upset and frustrated that, they got cited for plagiarism. And they'll say some things. If the best thing to do is just breathe, take a step away, try to think of it from their perspective, I would be angry too. The more time and space you take away from the conflict, the more logical you can think about it in the future. High expectations lead to letdown. And as educators, we all have high expectations for our students, but you can't personalize student achievement. You can't own when somebody doesn't do what they say they're going to do. You can't own a failing grade of one of your students. It's not on you. we could put 100% into everything, and we care so much for these students, but when it comes down to it, it's their education. It's not ours. So, obviously have those high expectations, but don't personalize it. A lot of times too, we think, am I really making a difference? Man, this person, I just can't get through to them no matter what I do. It's something I learned early on. You're never actually going to reach 100% of the people that you work with. That's okay. We can set that goal for ourselves. We could try really hard, but sometimes there's always somebody that may not respond to you the way you want to, or may not achieve what you think they should or could. So this next one, I'm a huge fan of cognitive reappraisal, and I put a goofy example here, but I just want to go through it. A lot of times I'm in a rush on lunch. I don't have far to walk to the kitchen. I go back there, I'll make a sandwich, and I'll turn around to go back to the computer, and the sandwich slides right off the plate. So there's all these things that go through my head, oh my God, I dropped my sandwich on the floor. Now I have nothing to eat for lunch. Boy, am I dumb. But cognitive reappraisal teaches us to reframe the emotions we feel from the event. So you could say to yourself, hey, we all make mistakes. You may be clumsy, but you're not dumb. As you're stubbing your toe, running back to the chair as well. But there's plenty of people in the world that don't have the luxury of making a big fat sandwich for lunch. Count your blessings, like Carla just said. And failure breeds learning. Every single one of us here, every one of our students has failed before, and we learn from it. You keep your hands on the sandwich next time, right? You drop a sandwich on the floor, you better believe the next time you turn around with a sandwich, your hand is right there. You learn from the experience. So the opposite of this would be expressive suppression. It's when you're suppressing your emotions, you're pushing them down, and you're saying, no, I didn't really feel that. You're denying it, and it never goes away. It sits there like a bomb ready to explode at some point. You have to get rid of that emotion you feel somehow. And the best way to deal with it is to accept it. Hey, this is how I felt. How can I reframe this? And how can I learn from this in the future? All right, so it is snack time right now. Now, before we get into this, what I want to do is just explain, a lot of people have these preconceived notions of mindfulness. They think, oh, that's meditation. I can't do that. My head is too scatterbrained. Or, oh, I have ADHD. I can't do that. Or, what is that, yoga? What do you want me to get on the floor and bend over backwards? Like, mindfulness is actually, it could mean those things, but it's actually just shifting your focus. It's shifting what your brain is doing to a different thing. So what we're going to do is we're going to take our snack and we're going to go through this really slowly. And I want all of us to do this together. Okay. So what I have is 2 miniature Reese's peanut butter cups. And I'm just going to take one of them right now. And I want everybody to take their snack. It could be a piece of fruit, a bag of chips, a piece of candy, whatever it is. And we're not going to do anything with it at first, except just feel it in our hands. If you have to close your eyes, and it might help, as long as you can see and not bash your head on the keyboard or anything like that. But really feel it in your hands. What does it feel like? What's the texture? This miniature Reese's cup is ridged on the side and very smooth on one end and very rough on the other end, which is where the packaging of it is. So now we're going to start to open it. If you have a little bag of chips, I really want you to focus on opening the bag of chips perfectly, not ripping it open, just opening it perfectly enough to where your hand can get through to grab a chip. Me with these, I'm just gonna very carefully take the top of it, peel it so that no chocolate gets on the wrapper, because I want all the chocolate in my mouth. Then inside of this, I have another shell. So I'm really going to focus on this. Really going to start to peel it away from the chocolate in a way that no chocolate sticks. Now, obviously, I'm not perfect. There's some chocolate sticking, and I live in Arizona, so it's also melting a little bit. So now, everybody, I want you to put your snack in your mouth. I don't even want you to start chewing on it. Just put it in your mouth, and I want you to feel what is going on in your mouth. How does it feel against your tongue, against your teeth? Now I'm going to try to talk with this in my mouth, but yep, I need to chew too, and I hope you guys let me know if there's chocolate all over my face, but really focus on the snack in your mouth. What does it taste like? How does it feel when your teeth close in on it? When your tongue swishes it around in your mouth? After it's been in there, if you need to swallow, that's great. How does it feel going down your throat? Did you not chew enough? Yeah, Heather, I do the same thing, and this really helps me focus on that. And guess what? While we were really focusing on our food, on our snack, did anybody actually think about their job, or think about students, or think about grading, or anything that they have to do? No, you were just focusing on that snack. It's actually a myth when people say, oh, I can multitask. You're never really multitasking. You're never actually focusing on two things at once. You're just shifting your focus. I find that when you're really mindful about anything that you do, it creates work-life balance. So a lot of people say, well, I don't understand work-life balance. I need to work 60 hours a week to pay my bills, to feed my family, to do this and that. And yeah, I'm the same way. I first moved to Arizona. I told people I don't have a social life, so I'm just going to meet with my students all the time, my doctoral students. I'll just spend all my free time with them. And that's where compassion fatigue gets in. But when you're actually focusing on work, you're going to be better with work. And when you're focusing on not work, you're going to enjoy not working more. It seems simple, but that's what it is really just shifting what you're focusing on to something else. And that's what work-life balance is. Whether you work 20 hours a week or 80 hours a week, as long as you focus on that during that time and don't think about it when you're not at work, easier said than done. Hey, I remember teaching high school and responding to emails at midnight in bed, being the first one there at 4:30 in the morning the next day, and just putting all my energy into it. When you're not at work, you need to focus on yourself. You need to focus on the things that make you happy. Okay, so hopefully that was fun, and we got some candy or snack. In the meantime, here are some references. I have no clue how we're doing on time, but we will have time for some questions here. So I've seen some great things in the chat, but I haven't got a chance to read everything. Connie, can you help me out? Is there anything in the chat that kind of stands out to you to talk about?
I sure can. And I saved the chat for you, so you'll be able to pull some really great points because there's a lot of good points in there. And everybody is shifting their mindset on how they approach their snack. I like that. We have about 5 minutes. So if anyone has a question, please reach out and we will see what we can get Michael to share with us. Your presentation is amazing and the topic is so relevant. Excellent job. That's from Harla Frank.
Oh, thank you, Harla. That's really sweet. Yeah, all the kind, positive words. You guys know me that I'm all about humor and positive psychology. So if any of you, want to reach out to me on social media, I'm all about memes and making people laugh. And this is what I do with my students as well. I understand the doctoral journey.
Michael, Holly wants to know any tips
I
on
understand
moving
how hard
from
it is,
theory to
and
practice.
no matter what you're doing, you still do it. Yeah, so moving from the theory of mindfulness to practicing it is actually easy. It's shifting that focus, and it starts to sway back to troubles at work or troubles in your personal life or whatever. You got to have something that can bring you back to the present moment. Sometimes that's why I have the pictures of my friends and family above my computer, all these things. And yeah, I see Nicole talking. I used to be an advisor as well, and I would sit on the phone and take on the troubles of everyone I was talking to for years, at the old Ashford in Denver. And I would go home and I would talk about it for hours. And it really, I think we all tend to do it, but it's compassion fatigue. We have to draw the line and start caring for ourselves and kind of push it away, in a way.
Well, we have about 2 minutes left. We are going to post the TLC conference evaluation in the chat. And we would very much appreciate if you would fill out the survey. So to nominate TLC presentations for conference awards and share your feedback on your conference experience. But Dr. Robinson, we really appreciate what you provided today. As it's been said, it was intentional, kind, thoughtful, and relevant. And it was a kind presentation. And we all need that. We work very hard. We work very hard for our students. We want them to be successful. But for them to be successful, we have to be successful, and we need to be kind to ourselves so that we can be successful. So this was absolutely phenomenal. Stephanie,
Thank you. Yeah, I
do
want to
not
thank
have
everybody for attending too. I mean, it's been a long day of amazing sessions, and I'm just honored and delighted to be here. And just all day I've been smiling and snapping my fingers about what everybody is saying. I'm just glad to be a part of it.
Yeah, thank you, Stephanie. Thank you, Michael. It was just wonderful. We look forward to hearing from you again next year.
Thanks. Everyone be safe.
Thank you, everyone.
Tip your servers.
Bye-bye.